I will first share it. So thank you, devotees, for joining in these online reading sessions. So we will start with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishna Srimade Bhakti Kasa Swaminathinam Krishna Krishna Srimade Vedanta Swasas Jai Shri Krishna Jai Shri Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Uttam Karte Vajra Yat Kripat Mahamande Shri Guru Yagisha Yasya Vadam Lakshmi Yasya Sakshasya Yasya Hridaya Gurve Gaurachandra Radhikaya Tadale Krishna Krishna Bhakta Yonta Pravisham Machamam Prasuptam Sanjeevayat Dashakta Dharasupam Chakasham Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Nijo Guru Harivanya Krishna Sansara Vijayat Vikaso Bhakti. So we are reading from the section Srila Prabhupada's Success, chapter 3. Don't be lazy. Work is our life. Okay, Shamsuru Prabhu, you can read it. We'll start reading.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Don't be lazy. Work is our life. Exhorting his disciples to work very hard for Krishna, that is our motto of life. Srila Prabhupada instructed them, there are so many things to be done in the Krishna consciousness movement. Don't take it that it is simply chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He often used the terms solid work and substantial work and did not at all appreciate sloth in the name of bhakti. Laziness, I don't want. We are not idle creatures. Nobody should sit idle. It is not sleeping business. It is not lazying business. We should always be active. Sometimes, under the garb of chanting, people take to the habit of laziness, which is not required at all. Pronouncing that, quote, those who are trying to be idle Krishna Bhaktas are not devotees, Srila Prabhupada continued. One must be engaged with Krishna's work, that is devotion. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridha vrata. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 14. Always, always chanting the glory of Krishna and trying everything for the benefit of Krishna, that is Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita bhajantya. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 13. Bhajanti means he is always engaged in my service. That is Mahatma. Laziness is not bhakti. There must be something. But if somebody says, now I'll chant sitting down, who is going to see me? I will doze and people will know I am chanting. This kind of cheating will not do. Therefore, we have given time 16 rounds. You are not Haridasa Thakura that you will be able to chant whole day and night. If without working, if you chant, that is the highest state. That you cannot do. Then you sleep, that's all. So, not that. Chant the minimum quantity 16 rounds. That will take not more than 2 hours, and the other 22 hours be always busy in Krishna's activities. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 14. This is upasate. Work is there. Just like Arjuna is fighting, that is also Krishna consciousness. Yudhyasya mam anusmara. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 7. He never said simply fight or simply chant, because in the material world that is not possible. Chanting must be there, but at the same time, you have to work to continue this movement. Laziness means tamoguna and leads to deterioration. Tamoguna means sleeping and laziness. So we shall avoid these two things. Of course, as much you require, sleeping allowed, not more than that. And keep everyone active. Then it will be an ideal society. If you become lazy in your spiritual life, everything else will deteriorate. When asked if Krishna had already done all the work at Kurukshetra, why was he so eager to have Arjuna work? Srila Prabhupada responded, just to show the example, don't sit idly, rascal, work. Krishna has already done, but you must work. This is the example. If you become idle, you will be diseased. You will have dysentery. That's all. That will not help you. You will have to suffer. Spiritual advancement is not automatic, it requires work. Anything for spiritual improvement, you have to work for it. Not that your laziness or idleness will make it happen. The spiritual master can show you the way, but the things have to be done by you. If you are slack, if you are lazy, if you cannot do it, just like a teacher can give you hints, you do like this, but passing the examination is not the teacher's business, it is your business. Stating that the movement requires energy, Srila Prabhupada himself set the example of full engagement in Krishna's service. When once asked about his itinerary, Srila Prabhupada replied, I don't want to stay anywhere. I want work. I have stayed in big palaces and big cities. That is now complete. I have no other desire. There is no end of it. Work is our life. No, noting that there is so much work to do for spreading this Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples, now work very strenuously. He wanted them strenuously. He wanted them to work very hard and be overloaded with work in Krishna's service. If we revive Krishna consciousness in a systematic way, within a very short time, we can revive our original Indian culture on the basis of the teachings of Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita. So, we have to work very hard for this purpose. And if you follow the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will be very easily done. All our students are simply anxious to be overloaded with work, Krishna consciousness. Swamiji, what shall I do? What can I do? They don't feel tired. That is Krishna consciousness. One must be anxious to work. It is not that it is an idle society. No, we have got sufficient engagement. Just simply find out how Krishna consciousness can be spread. This is practical. A devotee can do the work of 300 persons. I understand that there are only 3 persons at Boston but each of you can work for 300%. So it is not the numerical strength that works, but it is Krishna consciousness that works. A Krishna conscious person is never tired of working, and the symptoms I can see in you as you want to be overloaded with work. This is the test of how one is advancing in Krishna consciousness. Nobody becomes tired but wants to work more and more. Your god brother Satswarupa also told me the same thing, that he may be overloaded with typewriting work. Similarly, Govinda Dasi and Gaura Sundara also want to be overloaded with work. So, your examples are great encouragement for an old man like me. I have got the same spirit of being overloaded with Krishna conscious work, but physically I am not as strong as you young boys and girls. You can pray to Krishna that I may get your strength to serve the cause of Krishna consciousness. He
Oh, wow.
admonished his disciples, he admonished his disciples to not become stagnant. You should not become stagnant, thinking, now I have understood Krishna. Now I have understood Krishna consciousness. Now let me sit down and just chant Hare Krishna. This is not desired. Go spread Krishna consciousness. Don't be stagnant. Go and preach. In Srila Prabhupada's movement, laziness was not allowed. We do not allow any lazy man. He must be engaged. That is the Krishna consciousness movement. That is Krishna's order. Niyatam Niyatam Kuru Karma. Arjuna was refusing to fight. He was trying to be a non-violent gentleman. Krishna did not allow him. No, no, you cannot do that. That is your weakness. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame. You are proving yourself a rascal. It is anarya jushtam. This kind of proposal is for the anarya, uncivilized man. Don't do that. So don't think that those who are Krishna conscious will become lazy and imitate Haridasa Thakura. That is not Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means as Krishna instructs, you must be very, very busy 24 hours. That is Krishna consciousness. Not to become a lazy fellow, eat and sleep. No. Karandhara Dasa. Prabhupada was very critical of laziness. He did not tolerate being lazy and irresponsible. Incompetence was tolerable, especially if it was genetic or natural. But he was scornful of calculated laziness. He often said, you must always be doing something for Krishna. If you have spare time, don't sleep. Read my books. If you find yourself doing something and you can't stay awake, if you sit down and sleep, then stand up. If you find yourself unable to do one thing, then another thing. But keep actively engaged in some positive engagement. Don't become idle. The idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Continue,
Hare,
continue.
okay, Prabhu. Be alive. Krishna is unlimited. His service is unlimited. And the energy of his servants is unlimited. Prana Acheyandra Se Hetu Prachara. One who has got life, spirit, dynamism can preach. A saying coined by his Guru Maharaj was one of Srila Prabhupada's often cited battle cries. Exhorting his disciples to embrace the missionary spirit, Srila Prabhupada sometimes cited the laxity of the Gaudiya Matha. I say to my God brothers, you are all dead. You have no strength, no life. What have you done? Because I am trying my best, blessing is coming from my Guru Maharaja. It is not to be advertised, but seen. Missionary activity is not laziness or sleeping. My Guru Maharaja used to say, Prana Ache Yandra se Hetu Prachara, that I have got some dozens of disciples and I have got a temple and people are contributing. Now I have good arrangement for eating and sleeping. Now I am perfect because I am getting some food without any work and honor. I am perfect. This is not the right mentality. Prana Acheyandra. You must be engaged continually for missionary activity. The Gaudiya mission has failed in preaching work because they adopted this principle. As soon as they got a little shelter under the name of Matha or a temple and a few dozen followers, not a few dozen, 1 dozen, then he is settled doing bhajana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, showing that he is a very great chanter. And what is your preaching? Alerting his disciples to the dangers of complacency, Srila Prabhupada urged them to be alive to the responsibility of spreading Krishna consciousness worldwide. We should adjust things, not that all right, it is going on. You have got a very responsible business, this Krishna consciousness. It is genuine, it is authorized, and Lord Chaitanya wants us to do it all over the world. The things should be adjusted and keep us always alive to our self responsibility. That is missionary life. Our mission is very great. You should be conscious of this responsibility. We are giving this supermost thing to human society. Try to understand it thoroughly and distribute. Often admonishing devotees for excessively sleeping and warning that if you lose your energy, then everything is lost. Srila Prabhupada gave the formula to keep the energy intact, predictably. You must be very strict in following the principles.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Karthik ji, you can read.
Yes, Prabhuji. 5. Urgency. Srila Prabhupada deliberately inculcated within his disciples the mood of urgency that characterized himself. Urgency both to be Krishna conscious and to give Krishna consciousness to others. Before death takes place, we must be fully Krishna conscious. We have to finish our Krishna consciousness during our lifetime, and we should not waste a single moment for anything else. One should chant and preach about the urgency of making this life perfect in all respects. We have to inform people that there is a fire of Maya which is burning the very vitality of all living entities, and they should guard against the indefatigable onslaught of material existence. That should be our motto. We have got so much vital spiritual knowledge to distribute to the public, and they are in desperate need of it. The whole world is going to hell, and everyone is suffering. The devotee is very concerned with the world's fallen situation and desires with all of his strength to rectify it by Krishna consciousness. His disciples also noted Srila Prabhupada's sense of urgency. He was convinced that his efforts were a matter of spiritual life or death and was animated by a sense of extreme urgency. A sense of urgency guides Prabhupada's purports as much as it propels his movement, his followers, and, in a very personal way, his own life. He understood how people today were going to become cats and dogs and camels and asses, and so many other different kinds of animals in their next lives. That realized knowledge made him such an intense preacher. Hearing him preach gave you the feeling that he was in a pitched battle to save souls, and that kind of urgency can only come from intense realization. Sixth, a pushing result oriented movement. Krishna inspired my Guru Maharaj, he inspired me, and I am trying to inspire you all because Krishna wants it. This is the Parampara system. My Guru Maharaj pushed me, I am pushing you, and you are pushing others, just like a train. Although much is said of Srila Prabhupada's warmth and kindness, he did not coddle his disciples. Only by pushing them, he was able to quickly spread Krishna consciousness worldwide. He was result oriented. Preaching means results. How much land? Next page, project. How many devotees? How many books distributed? This I want to see. He had a mission to fulfill. He was in a hurry and he wanted to get things done. He was not satisfied with his disciples simply praising him. He wanted to see practically what they had done to push forward the Sankirtan movement, and push they did with astounding results. Yet, Srila Prabhupada never allowed his disciples to rest on their laurels or become proud of their achievements. He isn't content in sit back in complacent satisfaction, nor will he allow us to either. Being a demanding taskmaster, he always pushed his disciples further, and they in turn were encouraged to do more by his acknowledgement of their efforts. Even if we worked so hard, Srila Prabhupada still pushed us. But when we returned and reported to him, and he was satisfied, it all seemed worthwhile. His favorable glance made us feel that all our difficulties meant nothing. Always thinking big, Srila Prabhupada challenged his disciples to accomplish ever more extraordinary feats in devotional service, and he empowered them to do so. Once they ascended to a certain level, he pushed them further. He thus practically yanked them to the level of pure devotional service, of being fully engaged for Krishna's satisfaction with no opportunity to think of anything else. An early example: in late 1966, Srila Prabhupada had his inexperienced disciples start a magazine, Back to Godhead. The first print run was 500 copies and remained between 500 and 1000 until in 1969, Srila Prabhupada arranged a good price for 20,000 to be produced monthly and allocated various centers to take a monthly quota and pay for them. From 500 to 20,000, a great jump. Srila Prabhupada later reminisced. This jump forced the devotees to massively ramp up their distribution of Back to Godhead magazine. In 1967, Srila Prabhupada wrote that he wanted his artist disciples to paint daily at least 1 dozen pictures. Daily 1 dozen. Hari Hari. In India, Srila Prabhupada insisted that the Vrindavan and Bombay temples be completed within timelines that any experienced builder would consider unfeasible. Applying relentless pressure, Srila Prabhupada had the on site devotees working literally day and night, and despite immense obstacles, he tolerated no excuses for delays. Eventually, both projects were finished only shortly beyond Srila Prabhupada's original agenda, and his immense satisfaction was the devotees' reward for the tremendous sacrifices that he had impelled them to undergo. And when Srila Prabhupada ordered his disciples to move from a plush downtown apartment in Bombay to the rundown, rat infested property in Juhu, they at first demurred, citing several plausible reasons. Srila Prabhupada's terse response, "Don't you want to become purified?" was sufficient. The devotees moved. During 1975, The BBT had fallen so far behind in producing Srila Prabhupada's books that material for 17 volumes remained unprocessed and unpublished. Srila Prabhupada ordered that the pending volumes be printed within 2 months. Impossible, retorted Rameshwara Das, the BBT production manager. Impossible? Srila Prabhupada responded gravely, is a word in a fool's dictionary, and the BBT team got to work. For 2 months, dozens of devotees ate minimally, slept minimally, and worked around the clock, transcribing, composing, editing in English, Sanskrit, and Bengali, painting scores of new illustrations, and doing all else required so that the volumes could be delivered on time. By thus pushing his disciples beyond the boundaries of mundane possibility, Srila Prabhupada showed them how Krishna could make the impossible possible. By surrendering to Srila Prabhupada's impossible demand, devotees found themselves empowered and blissful. When the first books had come back from the printers and had been offered on the altar of Rukmini Dwarkadhish, the devotees had cried in transcendental bliss, chanting again and again the mantras to Srila Prabhupada. They were feeling the potency of the order of their spiritual master and seeing themselves as instruments in carrying out what had once seemed an impossible request. Impossibly, also, Srila Prabhupada ordered his disciples to double and triple their already astonishing achievements in distributing books. I am writing books, they are selling books. I am working them always. Make double, make double. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would push individual disciples beyond their imagined limits. As Yamuna Devi Dasi noted, Srila Prabhupada always encouraged us to move much faster than we thought we could and gave us deadlines that seemed impossible to meet. And Jagat Tarini Devi Dasi recalled, in Hong Kong, I felt Srila Prabhupada asked me to do something impossible, and when I did it, he added to it and added to that. Her husband, Bhuri Janadasa, commenting on the same period, commented, Prabhupada's transcendental intelligence turned bad to good, unfavorable to favorable, and defeat to victory. Apart from his pushing them, Srila Prabhupada also wanted his disciples to come to the level of pushing themselves. He congratulated a disciple for sincerely trying to push yourself in the matter of Krishna consciousness. All this pushing made for a high pressure movement, one with little scope for anything except Tivra Bhakti, intense devotion. It was not only by divine inspiration that day after day devotees worked long hours for Krishna under austere conditions. By strong words and sometimes physically, more committed devotees pushed their less enthusiastic compatriots to rise before 4 a.m., take a cold shower, and get out of the door for Sankirtan right after breakfast prasad. Not always pushing. While continually pushing his disciples towards perfection, Srila Prabhupada, considering the reality of what he was dealing with, sometimes took a less assertive or more resigned approach. I was thinking that the paintings should be produced at the rate of one per day. That was my thought. But if it is not practical, there is no cause for lamenting. Simply go on with your painting as far as possible. Don't strain for collecting, then spiritual progress will be hampered. Referring to plans for protracted collection for the grandiose temple in Mayapur, too much strain is not good. Transcendental competition. Sham Sundar Das captured the spirit of transcendental competition that was so much a factor in ISKCON's phenomenal early growth. From our earliest days with the Swami, there was a competition to catch his attention, make him happy with something you did. This is probably natural in large families. The desire to serve and please the father you love, to stand out and be noticed among your siblings by pleasing him the most. If Brahmananda has found a way to broadcast the Swami's message by printing his Bhagavad Gita, Then I had to find a bigger way to spread the message by catching the beetle's eyes. If Kandahar got a big temple,
Karandar. Prabhu, it's not Kandar, it's Karandar.
Karandhara. If Karandhara, is it a person, Prabhuji? Karandhar?
Yeah, Karandar Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple.
Oh,
It's the name
I
of the
didn't know.
person.
I didn't know.
Oh, Karandar Das. In the memories you can see, just put Karandar Das. Prabhupada's he made big temples.
Okay, very nice. Hari.
Yeah.
If Karandhara got a big temple together for Srila
Ah.
Prabhupada, then I must get a bigger one because Srila
Yeah.
Prabhupada would travel to the biggest place and stay longer where the action was. As Srila Prabhupada explained, competitiveness among devotees is required to help make them strong, but this competition is sans envy and purifying. Perfect society or Vedic society does not eliminate competition. There must be competition, stronger and weaker, but it eliminates envy because everyone is weak before Krishna. Competitive spirit makes us strong, otherwise, it is a society of weak men only. And what is the good of such society? It was with this understanding that Srila Prabhupada encouraged competition among his followers to incite them to endeavor more in devotional service. On the spiritual platform, every one of us is a servant of Krishna. So, where is the competition between one servant and the other? Even if there is a competition, the center is Krishna. Who can serve more? Therefore, that competition uh, therefore, that competition is very welcome because there is no personal interest. Everyone is thinking how to serve Krishna more. That is wanted. Competition is there in real form and perverted form. In the real form, Krishna is the center, and in the perverted form, I am the center. I compete with you to satisfy my senses more. This is egocentric. It should be Krishna centric. Then it is perfect. Competition must remain. Others, Mayavadis, say, why competition? Make it zero. That is imperfect. But competition to satisfy Krishna is reality. Prior to the advent of mass book distribution, the main competition among Srila Prabhupada's followers was in recruitment. In 1969, Srila Prabhupada wrote, "Last evening, when I was performing an initiation ceremony for about 1 dozen devotees, I was talking to Tamal Krishna and Gargamuni that Brahmananda is now competing with you. So it was very pleasing talk that there is transcendental competition between the centers, and it is Krishna's grace that you stand first in this week's business." It was particularly when the temples in America began distributing Srila Prabhupada's books in great numbers that he introduced the concept of transcendental competition, indicating that the temples should compete with each other to see who could distribute the most books. He deliberately promoted a competition between temples in book distribution. When a tight transcendental competition arose between the Los Angeles Temple, Tripurari's BBT party, and Radha Damodar party, Prabhupada watched and approved it with pleasure. Soon, Hridayananda Das Goswami's zone also entered the fray. He recalled, "Srila Prabhupada had sent me to be GBC of Latin America in 1974, and in less than 2 years, by December of 1975, somehow things had gone well. We had printed books in Latin America and became the world Sankirtan champions. Up to that time, no one had ever defeated Radha Damodar. It was a big upset. No one expected it. So then in 1976, I was there and Tamal Krishna Goswami was there. We were walking with Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada enjoyed this competition. He was egging us on in a very playful, affectionate way. There I was with Tamal Krishna. We were on either side of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada said, no one could defeat Radha Damodar. But now Latin America has defeated you. And And then he was laughing and he stopped and said, I like this competition. A similar narration. There's a morning walk picture with Hridayananda Maharaj, Trivikram Swami, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Danavira Prabhu, and many other senior devotees. Prabhupada is in the center of the picture and everybody is bursting out laughing. At this time, we were walking north of the Santa Monica Pier when Rameshwara was describing book distribution in South America and how people lived in places where there were no temples were writing letters of appreciation for Prabhupada's books. Rameshwar was glorifying Hridayananda Maharaj, saying, just see Hridayananda Maharaj's potency. He is enthusing book distribution. He is so. Next page, Ravi. He is so wonderful. This was in 1976 during the height of the fierce book distribution competition between Radha Damodar party and the temples. Prabhupada knew that Tamal Krishna Maharaj, the head of Radha Damodar party, wanted to be number one. As Rameshwar glorified Hridayananda Maharaj again and again, Prabhupada stopped and said, don't speak so loudly. Tamal will have a heart attack. In this way, wanting that this transcendental competition must go on, Srila Prabhupada often joked and laughed to ever increasingly enthuse his disciples. The transcendental competition is nice. If Jayatirtha Prabhu defeats Tamal Krishna Maharaj, then Tamal will have a heart failure. Hridayananda. All of South America combined this month has almost defeated Radha Damodar. Almost on the same level now, South America. Srila Prabhupada. This competition must go on. That is tangible. Competition raged between devotees, temples, and zones, the fever being fueled by two in house publications the weekly Sankirtan newsletter, along with the official BBT monthly newsletters, keeps the temples around the world and Srila Prabhupada up to date with the temple book distribution scores, whereas the BBT newsletter basis the temple rankings in the monthly competition on the amount of Lakshmi they send to the BBT each month. The Sankirtan newsletter lists individual book distributor scores as well as all the books sold by category small, medium, large, and mahalarge in each temple per week. Since it started in 1974, the newsletter has helped fuel the competitive book distribution spirit among the temples and devotees and is read and appreciated by Srila Prabhupada. The logic behind this transcendental competition and profiteering spirit are always there in the living entity. It is not that they can be artificially removed in some manner. Factually, we saw in Russia that by removing competition and profit calculation from society, the people were not at all happy, and still these
Mhm.
things are going on. So we shall not expect that we are any different. Only difference is that our profit is for Krishna's pleasure, and our competition is how to please Krishna more than someone else. Even among the gopis, there is a competition to please Krishna, and there is envy also. But this envy is not material, it is transcendental. They are thinking, oh, she has done something more wonderful than me. That is very nice. But now let me do something even more wonderful, like that. So I am pleased that you desire for competition with your god brothers to spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Vaikuntha thinking means appreciation of others amid rivalries and apparent competition. Everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaishnav thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There may be rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service, but in the Vaikuntha planets, the service for another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is Vaikuntha competition. There is no question of enmity between servants. Everyone should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. Since everyone is a servant, everyone is on the same platform and is allowed to serve the Lord according to his ability. Vaikuntha competition further explained. It is very nice to learn that both you and Satswarupa have highly praised Tamal Krishna. Similarly, Tamal Krishna has also highly praised you and Satswarupa. This attitude should be maintained among your God brothers. That will elevate us more and more to the top of devotional service. This is called Vaikuntha attitude. In Vaikuntha, factually, there is no fault in anyone, but there is another type of competition. The competition is that one devotee thinks of how nicely other devotees are serving the Lord. In the material world, the attitude is that everyone likes to think that I am doing better than others. This is the material conception. In the spiritual sky, it is just the opposite. Everyone thinks that my contemporary devotees are doing better than me. We are trained to address God brothers as Prabhu, which means master. This means we shall always try to find out the serving side of our God brothers. Sometimes there are misgivings, but that we should try to overlook. Unlike mundane competition, where each competitor tries to push the others down so that he comes out on top, transcendental competition means to encourage others while trying to outdo their service. However, Srila Prabhupada warned about taking the competitive spirit too far. Transcendental competition is nice, but it should not come to the point of making us lose our Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, cooperation and competition must exist side by side. This transcendental competition is very encouraging, but combined together, we must defeat Maya
Must.
and her influence. When the Kurus and the Pandavas used to fight, there were 100 brothers on one side and 505 brothers on other side. But when there was another party, then the 105 brothers were together. In this way, we must cooperate to spread Krishna consciousness. Better than fighting with God brothers is to try to outdo each other in transcendental service. You may differ with your God brothers, but don't differ in regard to chanting. Then it will be suicidal. See how your God brothers are doing. Compete with them instead of fighting. Fighting is going on between brothers perpetually, but do something for the Father. Srila Prabhupada was also transcendentally competing with his God brothers. I want that we shall excel the Chaitanya Matha. If I defeat my God brothers, then I am worthy to be called the Guru of the Americans. But if you do not do anything there, that will be a great discredit for me, and I will not defeat my God brothers as I desire. We should make a scheme so that everybody will come here and not there. We are not competing with the Yoga Pitha, but with the proprietor of Yoga Pitha. And he saw the competition of other religious systems with the Krishna consciousness movement as beneficial. Never mind, some other Christian movements are getting many followers. The competition is beneficial for us. Everything is beneficial for Krishna consciousness.
I don't think we are feeling any competition with Christianity or Islam nowadays.
it's a it's a different deal, bro.
This is
Altogether.
never mind some other Christian. I mean, competition is beneficial, but we don't think like this nowadays.
Yes.
We don't preach to Christians or Muslims the way Christians and Muslims are preaching to us. I know
Yes.
one devotee. He like I thought he is like I know one devotee. He was told by somebody that you go to this church and your disease will be cured, and that disease somehow got cured, and he got converted to Christianity from ISKCON.
Hari Hari.
We lost one person, and of course that person is not such a big devotee, but I know that such an examples are existing now. But we don't feel any competition. But if there are There are devotees who have done some, there is a website wherein how Christianity is spread, and they have in each area what is, because India Hinduism is spread into castes and uh, various divisions, BC, SC category is there na? So
Yes,
they
Prabhuji.
have divided the whole population into general, OBC, SC, ST, BCA, BCB, all these they have different, and each and every, what is the population and how many are Hindus and how many they converted to Christian, they have the full record of that,
Oh,
and they're doing it in a very minute way, and they're going, this is the CSI, Christian Society of India, the biggest society which is doing. I don't think our devotees are doing like that. We go to a
no.
place and we just preach over there. We don't take the population, how many are workers, how many
Yes.
are women, how many are children. We don't know anything of that sort. We know
Yes,
some here
Prabhuji.
and there details here and there, but this much meticulously Christians preach. How many streets are there? In those streets, how many are Christians? How many are Muslims? How many are BCs, SCs? All these. How many are Jai Bhim people? All these are perfectly recorded by Christian missionaries,
It's like a
and
census
they're
study.
doing it in a very big way, in a very meticulous way. They have very great, management and all these things. But our devotees, I don't know. Some are doing it, maybe few college preaching and all those things. Something are doing, but in an overall sense, this particular as a movement, we saw the with the beneficial. We not doing like this.
Yeah.
Rather, we say that Prabhu, sab kuch acha hai. Everybody is chanting. We say they are also having beads. We are also having beads. They are chanting Allah's name. They are chanting. They are saying nonsense names. They are chanting nonsense that we don't say every time. Okay, we may not say openly, but the thing is that we should be very fired up in telling all these things. But we are complacent. What they are chanting, what their rules are, nonsense all. They are full of halala. Christianity is full of nonsense. What is preaching in Andhra? It's a mockery. There are so many memes on Christianity like anything, but we
Oh,
don't
yes.
consider all those things. We just you know I am very much moved by all these words, but nothing is happening. We are rather saying people that when somebody is asked about Bhagavad Gita, he is being told that Arjuna is way more powerful than within than what is he thinking. That is what he is saying in a Bhagavad Gita podcast. That particular devotee, when he asked about Bhagavad Gita, he is saying that Krishna is preaching to Arjuna that you are yourself way more powerful than what you think inside. This is what he is teaching.
Hari, Hari.
Why are you the competition whole thing is that you, why are you competing with others? Why are you thinking you can? No, you yourself are a great competitor. This is what is preached by life coaches, so-called ISKCON preachers nowadays. You yourself are your competitor, because they know competition means envy. Competition means you have to have that you have to face so many things. So they change it, just like the same Robin Sharma, Shiv Khera, all these people who life coaches and motivational speakers, they all speak all these things. The whole every company, how they get these big results, because they said that you don't compete with your TL, you don't compete with them, you compete with yourself. Instead this is the way you can go ahead. This is all going on.
You are your only competition.
You are yourself a great asset. You are yourself a great boon for society. You can do yourself. You are no, these. Then Prabhupada is saying all these things that they are people what they are doing. Okay, continue.
Hari, Hari. Prabhuji,
Sorry, I
last
got
question.
sometimes I become little bit bhav, and I don't stop at all. So I was just controlling myself, but when Christianity and Islam comes, I become very raging, enraging like anything. Okay, anyhow.
Prabhuji, previous please, there is last line remaining. Everything is beneficial for Krishna consciousness if it is utilized properly. That is the art. Anything without substance will not last. Just sincerely demonstrate that we have got solid ground beneath us. Not that we have only some sentiment, that's all. Many fanatic spiritual movements have come and gone, but without the flawless philosophy of Krishna, they cannot stand. Therefore, I want especially that my books and literature should be distributed profusely.
Yes, actually, this particular thing nobody speaks nowadays. Many fanatic spiritual movements have come and gone without flawless philosophy of Krishna. We don't say that they don't have Krishna, they don't have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We say that there are so many Hindu organizations, we want to gel with them. They cannot speak Krishna consciousness because they don't have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because unless and until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, unless and until they know through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they can't get Krishna. Full stop, period. That's all. You don't, if you don't say this, because they are afraid of being aliened, alienated, they are being separated. That's why they want to gel with the people, they want to speak, they don't want to speak all these things. I don't think gives a crazy lecture like this. Somebody says like this, I don't see any fire in the devotees. They all speak in a very satisfying feel good lectures, and I don't feel any sort of enthusiasm to hear nowadays lectures by people, by devotees, so-called big devotees. They speak so much, they have all double standards. They I don't know, this is all going on.
Hari Hari. This
Yes.
is our substance, real philosophical information, not some weak sentiments. So try for this, to give all men this Krishna philosophy, and many real devotees will come with us back to home, back to Godhead.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
8. Accepting difficulties. The sages are sincere friends to all living entities, and at the risk of great personal inconvenience, they are always engaged in the service of the Lord for the good of all people. Cautioning as follows that an easygoing life and Krishna consciousness go ill together, Srila Prabhupada taught them to tolerate the difficulties that inevitably arise in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Yes. In one life, if we execute our Krishna consciousness attitude, even if there is a little suffering, don't mind. Go on with Krishna consciousness. Don't be disappointed or hopeless, even if there is some trouble. That is encouraged by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Agamo paino, agama paino nityastam titikshasva bharata. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 14. My dear Arjuna, even if you feel some pain, this body pain comes and goes. Nothing is permanent. So don't care for these things. Go on with your duty. This is the instruction of Krishna. By accepting difficulties in devotional service, devotees act upon and thus prepare themselves to attain the level of topmost devotees. Tapayante lokatapena sadava prayaso jana paramaradhanam tadhi purushasyakhidam manaha. This is very, very important. Maharaj has quoted 2 times. I don't know if somebody has observed or not. This is the second time it is coming. Great personalities almost always act voluntary suffering because of the suffering of the people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. प्रगाढ़ प्रेमेर ए स्वभावाचार निज दुख विघ्नाधीर न करे विचार. A devotee who has profound love for Krishna does not consider personal distress or impediments. In all circumstances, he wants to serve the Supreme Personality of God. Referring to one's disciples' struggles, as Srila Prabhupada wrote, although not much qualified from the worldly point of view, still his struggle for existence in Krishna consciousness is advancing him more and more in spiritual realization. While expecting his disciples to follow his example, Srila Prabhupada acknowledged that it is very difficult to push on this movement. He continued, still we are going. That is Krishna's grace. Indeed, that Krishna is our side, is our only hope. With this assurance, Srila Prabhupada spurred his disciples on. Don't be afraid of tribulations. Go forward. Krishna will give you protection, and exhorted them to do the needful despite difficulties. In pushing on our Sankirtan movement of Krishna consciousness, we might have to face difficult days, but we should always follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and do the needful according to the time and circumstances. Devotees should be prepared to undergo setbacks, disappointments, and hardships in executing the preaching mission. Follow the regulative principles very strictly and be ready to tolerate all kind of setbacks and disappointments. You will have to face all these difficulties. They are like cats and dogs. They are not even human beings. Therefore, the business is little hard job. You have to deal with cats and dogs, but still there is hope because they have got this human life, human form of life. There is hope. It is not hopeless. Don't be disappointed, but this is the job. You have to meet with cats and dogs. This is my point. When you go to preach, you must know that I have come to preach among cats and dogs, and I have to deal with them carefully. Otherwise, they will bark. Therefore, I wrote that poetry in disappointment before entering your country. What will they understand about this philosophy? The only difficulty, Srila Prabhupada said, is that we have to deal with mudhas. It can be thankless task, but devotees must press on anyway. Actually, nowadays, nobody says people are mudhas. They don't tell in the lectures that people are mudhas. I give a challenge, open challenge. Nobody tells in the lectures that people are mudhas. Nobody. No lecture. Nobody says mudhas except Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, I would say. It can be thankless tasks. Now, it's not that we have to tell mudhas, but we have to explain why they are mudhas, but they're telling. It can be a thankless task, but devotees must press on anyway. Preaching can be a difficult, thankless task, but a preacher must follow the orders of the Supreme Lord and be afraid of materialistic persons. This is very difficult job, but
It is
still we have to do
unafraid.
it. Okay. Preaching can be difficult, thankless task, but a preacher must follow the orders of the Supreme Lord and be unafraid of materialistic persons. Thank you. This is a very difficult job, but still we have to do because we have placed ourselves to become servants of Krishna. Never mind, we have to face so many dangerous positions. Still, we have to do this thankless task. The Krishna consciousness movement has started a Brahminical civilization, but especially when it is introduced in the Western countries, the Asuras try to impede it in many ways. Nonetheless, we must push this forward tolerantly for the benefit of human society. Now, this has turned to India. Now, Krishna conscious movement has started in Brahmana, but especially when it is introduced in the Western countries, the Asuras. Now, Asuras in India are impeding the movement in India. All over the world, 99% of the people are godless demons. Therefore, our preaching of Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, is always hampered by many impediments. Because of their fault of being devotees, the American boys who have sacrificed everything for preaching Krishna consciousness are charged with being members of the CIA. Moreover, the seminal Brahmanas in India who say that one can become a Brahmana only born a family, Brahmana family, charge us with ruining the Hindu system of religion. I want to tell you, there is a prominent organization all over India, which is there since so many, so prominent Hindu organization. So one person told me that they think that ISKCON is anti-Hindu, anti-Indian organization. Anti-Indian, anti-Hindu, and it is an anti-Brahmana organization.
Why,
ISKCON.
Broji?
It is like that because we don't say we are Hindus first of all. He said there is an open video is there. At least one sannyasi is put. So people think there are sects. Many people don't think like that, but at least there is hardcore Hindus. They think like that. That ISKCON is an anti-Hindu organization. It's an anti-Indian because we don't say we are Indians, because
Yes.
Indian is just what. So because they don't read, because our movement, they didn't push Tattva, Siddhanta. We pushed, of course, they know Bhagavad Gita, but we push the activities, what we do. We distribute plates of prasadam, we have temples, but the hardcore philosophy, that's why that Durachari Prashant, he speaks so much nonsense about ISKCON and nobody hits him on his face, We have to go flock together in his ashram and hit in his face like anything and never that he can speak ill about ISKCON. But nobody does like that.
He has an ashram, Broji.
What ashram or his house, wherever he stays.
Oh,
He's such a rude rascal. He's such a rude rascal. Anyhow, I am just an individual person. I can't do anything. So even if my speaking it is limited to this podcast, that's all. Because we are training Europeans and Americans to become qualified and are awarding them Brahminical status, we are being charged with destroying the Hindu religion. You see,
Mm,
it is not now. It's since Prabhupada's time this is there. But we want to change. We want to be nice to the people of Hindus. That's why we are distributing so much of so-called midday meals, hospitals. Why this one has come into picture? Because we want to be good among the Hindus. We want to
mm,
be, we want to have name and fame that these people are very good. They are doing good to the society. They are doing so good. आपने देखा नहीं कितना हम कर रहे हैं हाँ? ये ऐसा so they were
mm.
they had they think that the Prabhupada never did that.
Yes.
So nonetheless, confronting all kinds of difficulties. We don't want to confront the difficulties. This is what is our complacency. We must spread the Krishna conscious movement with great determination, like that of Prahlad Maharaj. To a leading devotee, Srila Prabhupada instructed, you should not back away when things get difficult. This is what is important. And he ordered a reluctant Trivikram Swami to stay there in Hong Kong and struggle for Krishna. Indeed, Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples to gladly suffer difficulties in preaching because in such activities, although apparently very severe, the devotees of the Lord feel transcendental pleasure because the Lord is satisfied. You right to say you are too much strained in various ways, but by your such activities, Krishna will be very much pleased. By citing the example of his struggles, Srila Prabhupada taught that a devotee's duty is to continue in all circumstances, pleasure or no pleasure. We should never give up our duty. My godbrothers always discouraged me, but I did not give up. Yes. I am doing my duty and always keeping my spiritual master in front. Even if there is some difficulty or hardship, or even if my godbrothers may not cooperate or there may be fighting, still I must perform my duty to my spiritual master and not become discouraged and go away. Once describing how he had left his peaceful life in Vrindavan to take on so much burden and anxiety for Krishna, Srila Prabhupada told his disciples that just as he had taken a risk by going to America in old age, they should accept whatever difficulties were required in preaching Krishna consciousness. The work is not pleasurable, Prabhupada said, but making so many devotees is pleasurable. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll meet tomorrow at 7:15 to 8:15. If you have any questions, anybody can ask. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Anything to ask? Okay. So we will stop here and we'll continue to read from chapter 9, Pushing Through Obstacles. Okay, one thing I wanted to ask, Shyam Swarup Prabhu, you attended the Vyasa Puja, na?
Yes, Prabhu.
So there was some program regarding mood and mission distribution. They wanted to relaunch the book. They did that? I don't know. I have not seen.
No, Prabhu. Um, they did
Oh,
not
that
do
program,
that.
because they were thinking to do something, but they didn't do anything. Regarding mood and mission, there was no program like that separately.
There was no program, Prabhu. Just they were on the dais. They were announcing that everybody should take some set and for themselves and for others. And Vidwan
Yeah, yeah,
Gauranga
that is it.
Prabhu had come and spoke something. He made one good point, Prabhu, Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu. He said that this book should have been published by BBT instead of Bhakti
Yes,
Vikas Trust because it is full of Srila Prabhupada's quotes and other things. So that one point
but
was
hmm, what Maharaj said for that? Maharaj said something?
no, Prabhu. Actually, Maharaj wasn't there that time.
Oh,
So
hmm.
Vidwan Gaurang Prabhu and Sridhar Srinivas and one devotee, I mean, from I think He was there in
Yeah, what is
Salem,
his
Vellore
name is
also.
what is his name? I forgot his name. Um,
I also forgot Prabhu. So he
Mitravan,
was
Mitravan Prabhu.
Mitravan Prabhu, because he edited a lot of things, it seems, in this book. So he also
Yeah,
gave
he
some
did
talk.
he is the editor of that book. He spoke
Ah,
something. He spoke
he spoke something,
what
Prabhu.
he
Yeah.
what he spoke. Did anybody record his lecture, like what he
No,
spoke?
Prabhu, this was not recorded because I think this happened right after Guru Maharaj's lecture. I forgot it
Actually,
happened in the
somebody should
evening
record
or
that, and then we should have put actually. I wanted to tell, but I forgot.
it was not recorded, Prabhu. These three devotees spoke and encouraged everyone to take, but there was not any official type of program, Prabhu. This just lasted for 5 to 10 minutes. That's all.
So, do you know how many? You don't know. I have to ask Vijay Gopinath. How many books went on Vyasa Puja? Not many books have gone. That is what I've been thinking.
Not
Because
many, Prabhu.
many,
Actually, I think they had given some numbers also, which they felt very less, and they were encouraging devotees to take more
mm,
sets. But it was very less, Prabhu. I don't think so. It
actually,
was
the thing
near.
is, I should not say this, but the team of devotees, those who are, they are not posting anything on YouTube. It should be promoted on the social media circles about the book. They should be having videos. Actually, I should wanted to do because of my visa, all these things. I had to come to United States, but otherwise, I had so much plan for this. But I do. Even we are having this program, and I told devotees to give the videos to post. Nobody is giving. What can I do? What can anybody can do? People know English. People are leaders. They post videos after videos, and I call them to give the videos, and they are not giving any videos. What can be put? We wanted to do so many short videos, so many things just before the Vyasa Puja, but nobody did, nothing. Just I have one video, two videos. Of one is Gayatri Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, and one is Bhashakosh Prabhu. Just I wanted to post that, but because there is nobody to edit the video, so I didn't post that. I have Bhashakosh Prabhu's video ready because nobody is, I don't know.
Even I didn't give it, Prabhu. Bad on my side.
That's what nobody, not you. It's not nobody. No, not even there are 240 people are there. Not even a single person. They take so many lectures. They want so many videos. There are so many leaders. They are doing so many podcasts. So many lectures are going on in so many centers of our Guru Maharaj disciples. Not a single person spoke about mood and mission, and even in their own handles they didn't put about mood and mission book, even in their own handles. What I can
Mm.
say, if I speak something, people will say you're offending, and they will, but it is their own guru's book. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
I'm very sorry for this actually. Hare Krishna. No, devotees, they're not done anything, They're just they're taking the books and distributing, fine. But they are doing so much of YouTube videos. Why can't they do one video on speaking about mood and mission? One video just to tell, okay, take this book. This book is very good. This is having 8,000 quotes. That's all. That 5 seconds video, it will take 10 seconds.
Mhm.
And when I speak, people get offended and they don't want to. Nobody. Big book distributors, they're not doing. It's a very heart aching thing. I can do that, but I'm doing it already. So maybe I should only do it. I should read from one book, put a one quote of Maharaj, and then one page, and then put a video on. We have to do something. That I want the ideas, but nobody is there to help us. We want to push this book so much on social media that so-called bhajan clubbing videos are so much of this. I don't want to take the names. What they are doing? Dancing with Islamic dadi, Islamic beards. What about our books? No, not even single video. Only BBKS Media and Logicis, that spirituals, whatever the other channel. They are only putting videos of Maharaj. Nobody is doing anything. How Maharaj books can be pushed? It's not good. Maharaj is again and again, we want to push, and devotees. I don't know what it is. I didn't come to Vyasa Puja because of so many reasons. I had to come to United States. Otherwise, I would have. They will say, you take. Nobody will take. You take, nobody will take. Baba, you are disciples of Prabhu Maharaj or not? Flock your house. Get out of the house. Flock with only Maharaj books. Just distribute them. ISKCON is going in gutter like anything. People are becoming, the leaders are not speaking on so many things. Maharaj is speaking. Maharaj books needs to be pushed among disciples, among devotees. Hare Krishna. If I become more bhav, then it will be a problem. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo bhavana praveshna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.